Trying to gain control, but Daniel's up off the wall. Oh my goodness, almost finds the Doomsday Dish to himself. Flip reset here. Absolutely nasty play from Daniel. He has been known to pop off. Here we go. Welcome back to the pitch, guys. It has been a while since we've had a show match, but we're back, and of course with no one else other than Daniel, our next-gen Phenom Wonder, who's been putting on the work both on the ranked ladder and in the show matches with a nice flick over Adverse to start this one off. Daniel is going to be playing in our tournament in the next couple of days here called NEXGEN, which is consisting of a few of the different players who can't make the salt mine because they're not old enough. It's a Psyonix-sponsored event. You have to be at least 15 years old to play in it. But Daniel, a guy who's been ranked in the top 1 or 2 for like the past month and a half, it feels like, is not going to be able to play since he's only 13. So we set up a tournament for him and the other young guns like Chronic and Drees and Night Owl and Astro, who are going to be playing a tournament for $100 here in a couple days. So make sure you check that out if possible. But today we got Daniel, and he's going up against a salt mine hopeful. The reason why we came up with the next gen in the first place is because we wanted to give those guys who can't play salt mine a chance. But Adverse might be one of those players playing in the salt mine qualifier. This is going to be a nice long shot from midfield for Daniel as he's going to go up 2-0. Adverse has been hanging out in the top-ranked positions for a long time in the North American ladder. He has dropped, I think, a little bit farther than he has been recently, as he has not quite made it in. He is a couple names off of some players who I think made it in recently. So I do expect Adverse to make it into the top 32 of the North American players to try and qualify for salt mine. But a little test for him today to go up against one of the better players he might be facing. Nice little breezy flick, I think, but shot that one up super high. Adverse is trying to hold on to possession here as he takes it back to his own half, saving his 58 boost here to make sure he's got something instead of just using that all up to continue the air dribble. Daniel's going to be up early, tried to play it slow, and doesn't get the 50-50 he wants. It'll be interesting to see Adverse's play style since this is his debut on stream. He is going to get a nice little tap over Daniel on the back wall to squeeze in his first goal of the stream. Just a really nice bounce off the corner. Daniel ends up getting caught out of position on the back wall. But as I was saying before, I have no idea what kind of play style we're going to see from Adverse. We've seen such a insane different array of play styles here, and Daniel, he's going up against a play style in Daniel who's more of an all-around type player who uses his speed to really dominate. Nice catch here from Adverse, and Daniel's not able to get around it. He did not expect Adverse to stay on top of this ball. Daniel thought he was able to push it away and was going to be able to reset this up. Such a good recovery by Adverse to get back around that bounce and put it back on net. That was some insane speed as Adverse is able to tie it up. Daniel trying to take control with low boost, and Adverse is able to take it away. If he can play this one fast, he might be able to score it in. He's going to do the pinch off the ceiling, and that's the perfect way to do it. Adverse picking up some speed here as he takes the lead. There is not a lot of ways to get enough speed on that ball to make sure that Daniel cannot save it away. He did beat Daniel on the 50-50 challenge, but Daniel is so fast on the recovery. Adverse needed to get it there fast, and pitching on the ceiling was pretty much the only way of doing that. He does it perfectly to take himself up 3-2. Daniel flip reset. Doesn't use it, lets it bounce, and it goes just slow enough for Adverse to take it away. Daniel trying to keep possession, and he's doing a really good job of just that. As he brings the ball back into his own half and grabs both the corner and mid boost. Adverse is going to try and be greedy, but it's not going to work, and Daniel will punish him for it. Just a great retreat here from Daniel to maintain boost control, and Adverse just got a little bit greedy. He needed to realize that he was bested earlier than deep in Daniel's half, trying to go for a reverse challenge where it was far too late. Adverse aerial shot midfield, easy read by Daniel to know that that one was not online. He's going to send another one right back towards Adverse's net, but maybe a little bit too soon, as it's very easy for Adverse to keep away. Adverse is having to, oh my goodness, I'm not even sure if this was a fake or just a mistouch or what. Daniel seemed to think that Adverse was going to try and pop it, but he ends up just flying under him. Such a greedy double jump by Daniel to try and take that one away. Adverse has been finding himself in situations where he's having to come off the ceiling and hold on to his boost just to bring it back to the ground on so many different occasions. He's been able to use it well. Nice player from Daniel off kickoff. Just taking control of this ball off the kickoff. Nice flick, top right corner. Good shadowing position by Adverse, but really just almost an unstoppable shot by Daniel. But as I was saying, either Adverse is not getting, nice kickoff goal for him, but either he's not getting the setups that he wants off the wall in order to initiate air dribbles or, you know, double taps or whatever it is he could be going for in the air. But he keeps having to bail out of them and just drop down and holding on to his 50 boosts that he does have. And we'll see if that ends up costing him some more goals. Right now he's been able to handle it so far without letting Daniel take the ball away too easily. This flick outside Daniel's stand, all it's really doing is buying him time to grab some boost. He is able to stay in front of this ball and prevent the clear. Daniel's just looking for Adverse. He's not even trying to get to the ball. Pretty much a lucky bounce there for Daniel as that one hits the corner and pops up. If anything on the ground would have been easily taken in by Adverse, as Daniel had put himself slightly out of position going for that demo. Adverse putting way too much separation between him and this ball. Holy cow, I feel like Daniel got punished there. He gave so much separation, Adverse did, between him. Oh, Daniel's just letting go of the controller or fixing something? I don't know. But anyways, Adverse got way too much separation on the ball. Daniel could have been able to take it away, but instead he waited to play defense late, and Adverse almost punished him. Daniel power shot off the bounce is not in. He's trying to keep the pressure on. This flick is high. This shot is ever so soft, but it is going to work, as Adverse is just stuck with low boost, not knowing what to do. Wasn't even able to grab that last pad. A few different times he's been caught out by trying to play in reverse. Daniel not able to grab the boost, but he doesn't care. Pre-flip to put this one on net. Adverse has to corral it just to keep it out, but now the advantage is certainly in Daniel's favor. He's going to go all the way back to his own half with 100 boost, but it ends up being the right idea, and Adverse is not going to be able to get back to this one. So Daniel will take the lead in the last 30 seconds to go up 6-5. Just poor execution on Adverse's part. Whatever flick he was going for there did not work out. Daniel making the read that Adverse had no angle on the wall there, but went for some insane wave dashes, and they didn't really work. They more slowed him down than sped him up. So Adverse is looking like he might have the last opportunity here. With 5 seconds left, a good chip up, but just a little bit too much space on it. He needs to corral this and stay under it. He does so just in time, and he's putting it near net, but it will be an easy clear from Daniel. And this one will hit the ground in game number 1. We'll go to the higher ranked player here, as Adverse tries his best to take down the top dog. Game number 2. Here we are, Wasteland Night. You gotta love it. Adverse trying to look for his first game win on the stream. Normally we try to not have debuting players go up against a player as good as Daniel is. But in this case, Adverse is trying to look to make the salt mine, so he needs to be ready to play these talented players like Daniel. Daniel takes control of the ball early here. Nice flick from him, and Adverse can't decide whether he wants to full-on shadow or challenge early. And he is going to get beat by this flick put nicely behind him. Just indecision on his part on whether or not he was going to challenge early or go back for the shadow. Daniel not able to find the power off the kickoff. So Adverse will be in control. The boost starvation game is happening, and he needs to be smart with how he plays this one. He gets caught out on a complete missed flip, but Daniel's not able to capitalize. Still no boost for Adverse since the kickoff. He's going to head back to that corner, but he needs to turn just in time, which is smart from him. Otherwise, Daniel definitely would have punished him. Adverse finally gonna have his moment to grab boost, but maybe not. No, he did have the boost. He just ends up shadowing way too close to Daniel and making it so that even though Daniel's flick was not that impressive, it gets just enough height to get it over Adverse. Setting up his shadow so close to Daniel is gonna leave him exposed there. Daniel will go up 2-0. Daniel's been a little bit slow to execute on these setups. This will just be a straight up pass to Daniel. I'm surprised Daniel even tapped it back off the wall. He could have just turned around and taken it the other way. Nice setup here from Adverse to get his first goal of this game number 2. Was this a Johnski or not? I'm not sure. I don't know. We need our Johnski expert to let us know. That may or may not have been a Johnski. We'll have to save the clip. Death. Can you play one of my show matches? You're 16 global. Absolutely. Adverse is going to get a free kickoff goal here. Looking at chat for 1 second, and Daniel is going to let him tie it right back up. Oh, just did not think that Adverse was going to try and play offense with the way that ball was bouncing. So Daniel just head off to steal that mid boost, but Adverse slowly rolls it in, as it is going to be all tied up. This pinch at midfield, Adverse trying to gain control, but Daniel's up off the wall. Oh my goodness, almost finds the Doomsday Dish to himself. Flip reset here. Absolutely nasty play from Daniel. He has been known to pop off like this as he takes this one to the ceiling. Gets the new flip and slams it home. Adverse absolutely styled on. Adverse trying to put on the kickoff goal and is unable to. He's going to need every kickoff possession he can get, playing a player as talented as Daniel. Not only every kickoff immediate goal, he almost finds a snuck in one here with 0 boost, and how fast Daniel plays. He's going to be in a really tough spot here. Johnski flick from Daniel, there it is! Our Johnski flick fans are not in chat right now, but we know that Daniel was setting it up for him. This is the money Johnski flick that Feer's chat has known to love. Where are our Johnski flick fans? We need them. Daniel trying to go for another one as he's up 4-2. Getting a little bit comfortable here going up against Adverse. Adverse didn't have confidence in himself coming into this one, saying he was going to get smashed by the top-ranked player. Or I should say the second top-ranked player. Freaking first killer had to come out here and take back number 1. Daniel, so lethal with these air dribbles. Gets the flip reset, uses it early, and is not going to be able to find the back of the net as Adverse taps it away easily. Ooh, big fakes by Adverse. He should be able to crowd this one in for a 3rd goal, and he was only 1 goal down, despite how favorable this game has seemed for Daniel here. Big ol' whiff is a nice fake from Adverse. We should see some more fakes here from Adverse, considering how much Daniel has been pre-jumping and falling for him. Daniel's been trying to play extra fast and stop stuff out early, so I don't know why we shouldn't just see more and more fake challenges from Adverse until we see Daniel switch it up. Nice quick play from Adverse to put this top corner. What a play! To take this off the corner is really tough. Nice tap to himself. To play that one backwards and get up quick off the crossbar. Double tap, technically. Really more just of a pinch squeeze into the top of the net. But it is all tied up as Adverse makes the read on the fake kickoff. Little pinch with Daniel here, and he's not going to be able to grab boost. But a big whip by Daniel. So fast at the recovery, though. Actually just catches Adverse off guard. I don't think he expected Daniel to get back as fast as he did. That seemed like a pure open net. Let's watch this again from Daniel's perspective. Oh, unfortunately, it's not going to show us the full recovery. But Adverse, just like us, thought Daniel was leaving a wide open net, but he is just so fast to cover up his mistakes. In no time, he was back, and Adverse just kind of got caught out with the no boost that he had. He did not expect to have to readjust his car and start playing defense. Johnski fake here. He's going to tap down to the ground, and Adverse should be able to take control. He's able to get the midfield boost and put Daniel on his own half. Weak setup for him, though, is going to be fully cleared. We're going to need to see Adverse be just a little bit more lethal. Just an interesting decision from him to take this one across his own net. The reason why I feel like that might have been a mistake, but once again, he catches Daniel out. Nice delayed pop to tie this one back up. It costs so much boost, though, to take it across your net. He ended up at the end of that play with only 39. Luckily, he was able to kind of bait Daniel into challenging early and then using his flip late to push it over him. So he ended up recovering from it, but I feel like, more often than not, you end up using a lot of boost and putting yourself in a tough situation with that player just waiting for you. But Adverse is looking to prove me wrong. He's got control again, 41 seconds. Let's see if he can set up a nice dribble here to punish Daniel. Daniel's electing to play defense all the way back in his net, and Adverse just dribbles it right into him. So many different places to put it, and he really made it as easy as possible on Daniel. Daniel with the fake outside the box, trying to squeeze it past but is unable to. Adverse power shot, able to steal the boost. Daniel's been able to maintain supersonic though. 10 seconds left. Great opportunity for Adverse. I don't think Daniel got that boost, and now that he sees that it's spawned, he knows that he doesn't, and he will be able to get a 6th goal. That's actually quite the nice spawn. I'm pretty sure Adverse wasn't sure whether or not Daniel had actually got that corner boost, but as soon as you see that back right spawn in the air, he goes, oh, Daniel's got nothing. And he can just execute a quick dribble and know that Daniel is stuck out of position. Daniel's able to get under this one, so he is still technically alive in this game number 2. But Adverse will tap it down, and he will tie up the series 1-1. What a nice play to come back here late from Adverse. Game 3, it's all tied up, as Adverse is able to bring it back 1-1. His first game win of any Feer show match. Hopefully a lot more to come for him. He's been able to prove that he can hold his own against Daniel, despite Daniel winning fairly easily in game number 1. Adverse is able to come back late in game 2 and tie it up. Adverse dribble across the net. Not really setting himself up for much, so Daniel's able to take it away. Another play from the corner, and Daniel almost found the angle there. But these two are just kind of playing ring around the rosy. Adverse's first aerial attack here. Nice placement from him, but Daniel saves it off the crossbar. And yet another counterattack. This is still a ball that's just been going counterclockwise this entire show match. But finally, Adverse is going to push it the other way. Thank you. As for the last minute, they've just been swinging it around in a circle. Adverse trying to play with absolutely no boost. He is going to be able to play fast enough to force Daniel into a save and then take some of his own. Daniel hanging out in net with only a couple pads. Adverse trying to pop it up early so that he can score on the second attempt. Not a terrible strategy, playing against someone with low boost. Just make them use the very little boost that they do have to get up to the top shelf to save a somewhat easy one away, but then just follow it up and take the next shot. Adverse has done a really good job up until that last moment when I talked about it, of making sure Daniel did not get a clear out with his 23 boost, but just a good catch and flick does finally relieve the pressure, but it's right back in Adverse's favor. An easy tap over him. He saw he was up earlier than Daniel, and he doesn't need to hit it hard. He just needs to hit it at all. And he will go up 1-0. Daniel in control off the kickoff. Too much speed as he's able to do with just so many different people. But he's going to tie himself right back up. Kickoff game this series is definitely in favor of Daniel. Adverse just swinging way too far wide. Needed to prioritize a little bit more cutting off the ball and stopping the easy shot. Daniel waiting until the last moment before he knows that he cannot take the ball away at midfield, so he's forced back into his own half. And Adverse plays it very smart, as he knows not to pull the trigger until the last moment. Goes for the low 50-50, and since Daniel has been playing his challenges high, that actually seems like a really good idea. The fakes and the low 50s might be the way for Adverse to go, considering Daniel's just trying to play so fast on his defense and trying to get up early to stop out the tough flicks. And Adverse has found a way to sneak it below. Dangerous spot here. Adverse taps it away, but Daniel is going to get boost control. Trying to tap it back up to himself in the corner. So much patience from Daniel, but a little bit too much patience as Adverse finds the perfect moment to take it away. But this slam off the backboard should be a counterattack. Nice play from Adverse just to bump Daniel out. It still might not be enough, as Daniel is able to finish it. But Adverse was in a tough spot from the moment that came off the back wall. And he actually does a really good job whether he was trying to get in the way of Daniel's flip or not. It was just that second to last, or that last flip, that he flipped towards the boost instead of realizing that Daniel was making a very obvious straight attack at his net. And that will cost him a goal. So for the first time, Adverse goes up 2-0 and Daniel brings it back. Daniel just tapping this bounce dribble away. Adverse uses up every last bit of his boost, but he will be able to grab the corner. Nice low 50 attempt, but this time Daniel squeezes it out into Adverse's defensive half. Adverse going for the air dribble. Is he able to get the flip reset? He does, but he pushes it to the one spot that Daniel is. A couple unlucky attempts there from Adverse with a dribble, and this time, oh my goodness, he just... Oh, never mind. One sec, let's wait. There it is. Oh, what a save! What a great call. Anyways, what I was trying to say was something completely different, as Adverse is finally going to be able to score that third goal. But Adverse was chasing after Daniel when he was on that retreat, which seems like a interesting decision when he really just needs to rush back to net as fast as possible. And he almost got punished for doing that, as Daniel had a somewhat open net, but in the last moments, Adverse saves it off his own post and gets the counterattack. So for now, he ends up proving me wrong yet again, as he seems to like to do. Low boost situation for Adverse. He's going to go for the low 50-50 every time. No reason to jump up in the air, as it's way too risky. Adverse finally becoming wise to the fact that Daniel is playing these shots very fast and electing to not go for the boost and instead stay in front of his net. Adverse taking a dribble down to Daniel's half, not able to get it on net and force anything tough, as Daniel tries to flick it away. These guys just trying to play possession game and a little bit safe attacks back and forth between the both of them, as neither of them are willing to commit to anything too much. But Daniel is finally going to get a 50-50 just outside Adverse's net. I'm not sure what Adverse was thinking, as he was playing defense on the wall and just left this low 50 open to tie it back up. Yeah, Chronic, you're saying, how's it Salt Mine versus NEXGEN? Well, I'm pretty sure, according to my calculations, that when it's all said and done, Adverse should be at least in the qualifier for the Salt Mine. It is a little premature, but, you know, we'll put a little bit of clickbait. Adverse with a long shot. Holy cow! As he puts himself up 4-3. Daniel trying to push it over Adverse, but Adverse, good positioning from him to pull away from the ball and just chip it up to himself. And Daniel had to use up every last bit of his boost to make that challenge, and so a good power shot to the bottom left corner. He's going to put Adverse up 4-3. Daniel, 10 seconds left to tie this one up and not let Adverse get on match point. This chip off the wall. Daniel does have possession, and Adverse should not have much boost. Daniel should be able to take this all the way for free, and he will. Doesn't risk it at all, as he takes the slow dribble all the way down the field. Adverse trying to play defense by keeping on the offensive pressure, but this time it is going to cost him a fourth goal. And now the winner of this overtime goes to match point. Kickoff fairly neutral. Adverse is going to get corner boost. Daniel tries to take it into his own corner. Daniel looking for the bump. Absolutely no boost for him here. Adverse gets his own corner. We'll see where Daniel ends up going to. Another situation where Adverse takes the ball high and is just trying to save his boost to initiate a ground dribble. He seems to much prefer playing off the ground. But Daniel has been known to be lethal in the air. He is going to time this one perfectly. Oh no, did he not get that 50 in? No way! Adverse! Able to get back for this one, but finally, come on, Daniel has to finish it here. Yes, he will. My goodness. What a perfect air dribble read from Daniel. As Adverse, he tricked Adverse into thinking he was going to drop it all the way to the ground and then use his boost at the perfect moment to tap it over. But then he almost blew it in front of Adverse's net, but he will get it on the second time around as Daniel will put himself on match point. Heading into game 4, Daniel is on match point against Adverse. Adverse kind of throwing in the last moments of that game number 3. He was absolutely in position to put himself on top and headed to match point. But he got a little bit over aggressive in the last few moments, trying to keep Daniel from scoring by just keeping on the offensive pressure, and instead he ended up leaving Daniel a free opportunity to carry one across the entire length of the field for his tying goal, and Daniel was able to take it in overtime. So now Adverse has a little bit of a hill to climb in order to make it back, but he's definitely shown that it's not impossible for him. Daniel, nice setup again, but he's kind of going for these early jumps a little bit too soon, which is forcing him to come back to the ground, and then Adverse is able to save the ensuing shot afterwards fairly easily, because Adverse is playing defense all the way back just outside his net, which means those early jumps are not going to trick him into committing into anything early, as he can just continue to wait for Daniel to get close. Adverse just barely able to save this shot in the top shelf of his, oh my goodness, top shelf of his net, but Daniel with a nice pre-flip as he gets a backflip challenge here to pop it up to center, and Adverse goes flying a little bit. Well, really nice placement and car control there to use the flip early and air roll in such a way that that ball gets tapped into the net. He needed to do it in order to beat Adverse back to that ball. So that's a real nice play from our boy Daniel. Oh, just absolute wide open net. Double tap will be easy for Daniel. What happened here? As I lost focus for one moment. Oh, Adverse just trying to play on the wall, which is such a dangerous position to play in ones. It's such a very common place to play defense or to put pressure on in 2s or 3s, where you really want to cut off the ability to go high on the wall or near the wall. But it's really anchored around the fact that you have a teammate in the back to help you. Nice play to himself off the back wall, just tipping it over Daniel. This is a really good way. There was pretty much no other way to sneak this one into the net other than to go high above Daniel and tip it in behind him, which is just expert playmaking by Adverse. What's going on, Cesis? Nice delayed wave dash. Not so much flick, it's just shot from Adverse here. He's done a really good job of doing this on multiple times to trick Daniel out. I like the creativity we're seeing from him. The thing about the wave dash shot is it just looks like the shot is not coming out from the perspective of the defender, and it comes so late that so frequently it'll trick that defender into coming in, which is something that Adverse has done in various different ways a lot of times throughout the series, as a perfect way to punish Daniel, who loves to play fast. Adverse, nice placement here. Just good pressure over and over, making Daniel make save after save and starving him a boost. Smart to just set up a play to go anywhere he wants at midfield, and he notices Daniel's facing one way, so he'll take it behind him and go up 3-2. Not the only one with a TJ McConnell jersey. Yeah, I saw you got a Pacers one, dude. So nice. Adverse trying to go with the power slide play to bring that back on net, but he is not no King Ranny, as he's unable to turn anything out of it. Daniel with a big free jump to try and prevent Adverse from taking this one at midfield, but he ends up just passing over a free possession anyways, and yet again, Daniel challenges high and Adverse goes low, and he will get a 4th goal. Just perfect, like, series style from Adverse here. Perfect heads-up decision-making to know that his late flicks and late pops over Daniel have been, you know, kind of forcing Daniel to think he needs to challenge high, but he's been mixing it up and sprinkling in low challenges and low 50-50s when Daniel tries to jump early. So Adverse has put on a good array of offensive attempts in order to keep Daniel on his toes, but there's nothing quite like a kickoff goal in order to erase everything you've done right, and there's nothing quite like a kickoff goal to erase the other guy's kickoff goal. Neutral kickoff here, as Adverse is going to elect to play the possession game and take this over to the right wall. Daniel looking like he's trying to bump Adverse, but Adverse is too fast, and he will punish Daniel. What a nice play here from Adverse, realizing he could just take this one to midfield. Daniel went all in on the bump, and Adverse punishes him with a nice power shot from the side wall. Daniel just let go of the controller. He knew he had made a mistake, as he's down 6-3 all of a sudden, and Adverse is trying to look massive, be right. Massive? I don't know, I forget how to say it. But either way, he's calling for game 5, and it's looking like that decision might be the right one. Daniel taking this into the air. Flip reset from him early. Adverse tries to challenge right away, so Daniel takes it low, and that actually ends up being the perfect way to play against that. Daniel is so lethal with that, but just because Adverse jumped early, even though he was trying to play it backwards, which is honestly not a great way to try and play defense against that, Daniel's just going to let that one go in. But anyways, like I was saying, the jump up backflip is not exactly a great way to play defense, especially with the free jump, but when you get up so early, it forced Daniel into thinking he needed to take it low, and Adverse did the right thing, which was pulling off the boost at the same exact time to make sure he fell back down to stop both the air dribble attempt and the low dribble attempt, which is just quite the on-point play here from Adverse as he's keeping the pressure on. As he's up 7-3, he does find himself out of position here, and Daniel's long shot should give him a 4th goal. With a minute left, it's far from over, as Daniel should not feel comfortable going up against the 2nd-ranked player. I keep loving to say top-ranked player when I talk about Daniel, but technically he's the 2nd-ranked player, who will absolutely be able to get 3 goals on Adverse if he's not on his game for the last minute and 10. Adverse low 50 this time. It's not going to work, as Daniel does challenge it low and take it away. These guys rushing to the wall for a boost, but Daniel's going to win that race, so Adverse chips it back into his own corner. Daniel not able to find the angle, and also not able to grab the corner boost, which might be the difference between the entire game right there. Daniel essentially needed to keep that attack on, and that should be it. Daniel is going to leave the match to secure it for sure, as we are going to be headed to game number 5. Nice double jump pop, and not an air dribble bump, but instead a really nice 50 in the corner. It's actually interesting. I don't think that ball was going to head in without Daniel's help, but Daniel actually hit it off the wall and made it shootable, and Adverse will help squeeze it in to win game number 4, 8-4, and we are going to head to game 5. So get your game 5 hypes in the chat, everybody. Eve called it, as he's saying in chat. We are headed to game 5. Get your game 5 hypes if you haven't already. If you're a sub, we want to see him. What's going on, Night Owl? Another NEXGEN player who's going to be playing in the next couple days, trying to show that he can take down Daniel, and this is quite the mental advantage heading into game number 5. Adverse definitely has the momentum, and he's going to keep that momentum going into the first goal of game number 5, and that's just really not too much special, as Daniel just lets him get close with the flick and then tries to play defense late, and he is not able to push it out of his net. Daniel needs to get in his zone and start dictating his style against Adverse here. as right now he seems to be letting Adverse call all the shots. Another full field dribble as Daniel's going to challenge, coming all the way from his own net. Daniel Doomsy Dish, perfectly placed, top right corner to tie this one back up. Nice quick jump from him too, to not ride up the wall. These are the little things that these players do right that end up making it look like they're so fast. Everybody always talks about what's playing fast, as I frequently harp on. Well, one of the ways to play fast is to make sure that, oh my goodness, Adverse just let him have that one for free because he missed that corner boost. He was literally just going to let Daniel shoot on a wide open net. But Daniel trying to make a good shot instead of just an easy shot. Slams it off the crossbar, and he will not go up 2-1. But as I was saying, Daniel playing fast just by jumping up and not riding up the wall. You lose so much momentum when you ride up that wall or try and boost up that wall, that curve. But instead, Daniel jumping up on the wall to make sure he executes it fast enough. Just one of the things that these guys do so frequently that it's so hard to see. A million of them happen a moment that make them so fast. Daniel's flick, not very threatening, but he is able to grab the corner boost. He's going to just try and demo Adverse here, but the demos have been changed, everybody. There's been an update, and obviously that's the reason why he didn't bump him. And Adverse will, on the counterattack, go up 2-1. Feer update series score. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It is 2-2. Astro, another next-gen player in chat. Is Adverse playing in the Salt Quals? According to my calculations, assuming he doesn't lose a bunch of rank and nobody jumps above him, he should eventually make it into the Quals. I don't think he's in yet of the first 16 people that have made it in, but I think he will be part of the last 16. So we'll see if I end up being right about that. But right now he is up 2-1. Looking to take down Daniel. Not a lot of people have been able to do so. And in the past 8 games, only Chronic can boast a series win against the Daniel. We're halfway through this game here, or approaching halfway through this game. Low scoring one this time around, as Adverse is up by 1 goal, 2-1. Nice shot here from him to force out a tough save, and Daniel's electing to shadow instead of challenge quickly. Nice play from him here. Is Adverse going to be able to get this one? He's not. Good counterattack from Daniel, as it's going to be 2-2 at 2:22. Adverse just trying to take that corner boost steal. And Daniel realized he had an opportunity to pass it to himself off the wall and speed one before Adverse could get back to it. Daniel in control off kickoff. Looking like he's going to try and take it to the net right away, but this one should get saved. But big advantage right now for Daniel. We'll see if he's able to capitalize on it. Adverse challenge is quick, and I would say the answer is no, he doesn't capitalize, as Adverse shows a great display of defense here. Daniel trying to play just a little bit too quick. Gets a whiff on his own wall. Oh, this net is wide open. The backwards challenge from Daniel in his own corner as he tried to get a 50-50. These two were just dancing in the corner, and Daniel's pointed away from the net at the corner. It just seems like such a tough spot for him. I guess he was trying his best to half flip his way out of there, but the dancing just went in favor of Adverse. Daniel has been able to punish Adverse so many different times in this exact situation. I think on this diagonal kickoff, he's able to get control, takes the ball to this side boost, and Adverse thinks he has time to go grab corner boost and still defend. But time and time again, Daniel has proved him to be very much wrong. I'd be interested to see if Adverse can pick up on those situations that Daniel just punishes him on over and over again, and see if, like, in the last minute 30, he has another chance to prove that he'll learn from his mistakes. But Daniel, trying to initiate a dribble here, just puts too much separation between him and the ball, and the window is left open for Adverse, as Daniel is just stuck watching. He has to finish the animation of the last half of his flip, but he knows he is not going to be able to get back up in time to get in the way of that ball. Another kickoff goal for Adverse, 5-3, and Daniel needs to keep his head on straight. He absolutely can come back from this one, but not if he lets himself tilt. Daniel, another kickoff loss, another immediate kickoff goal for Adverse, and this needs to be going the other way if we want to see Daniel come back. Daniel watching that replay a little bit, maybe wanted to see what was happening with his kickoff. Neither of these guys mixing up the kickoff. Adverse, I don't know why he would. Although sometimes it's smart to stay ahead of the game and try and predict that Daniel was going to mix this up. But these two are putting in quick shot after quick shot. It's impossible to count Daniel out with how quickly these last few goals have been going in. Really nice placement there, though, on the hook shot from Daniel. There we go. That's a kickoff mix-up from Daniel. The delayed kickoff is not quite going to work for him, though. At the very least, he does stop an immediate goal for the first time in the past 4 or so kickoffs. Adverse trying to get back around this one. It is going to cost him some boost and some slow play. So Daniel has an opportunity to play fast on him. Adverse does not have time to grab any corners. Good chip up, causing Adverse to use the very little boost that he does have. Once again, another high play from Daniel to cost another bit of boost from Adverse. This time he has to play off the wall in order to play it high, but he does perfectly. So really good display of defense from Adverse in his own net. But Daniel is still creeping on. Attack after attack, and this time Daniel will make it in as he takes it out to midfield and brings it back for a nice bounce dribble power shot. This time Adverse playing way too far on that back wall for defense. And Daniel is able to put himself down 1, but he's going to need a good kickoff and a good first possession here with 33 seconds left. Fairly even kickoff. 50-50 in favor of Daniel. This one's open, and he will tie it up as we go to 6-6. 27 seconds left here. This is certainly a Game 5 hype situation, as this kickoff means so much. Adverse looking like he'll get first possession. In the last 24 seconds, he's going to get boost and ball. Daniel doing a better job of defending in these situations than Adverse was, because in those exact situations previously during the show match, Daniel's been able to punish every time, but a missed touch from Adverse and an open net for Daniel, as Daniel is going to go up 7-6. Adverse so close to taking away the series win, but all of a sudden, the tides swing wildly in Daniel's favor with 9 seconds left. Let's see if a kickoff is mixed up here. Are either of these guys going to do something different? Daniel is going to play it slow. It ends up being maybe a poor decision as this ball is pushed towards his own net. Adverse trying to play it off the corner. Can he get a foot reset? No. So this ball just needs to hit the ground now. It is up in the air, but with no boost for Adverse, it's got to be over. Daniel says, I'm going to make it 8-6 to show you I won by more than it really looked like. But Daniel is able to clutch it out in the last moments and not let Adverse give him another blemish on his record in the past 9 or so games, as he will continue to only be defeated by his next-gen opponent, Chronic, as Daniel has been looking insane. But great first match from Adverse, and I expect to see more great things from him, and hopefully a few good Salt Mine qualifier games, as he might be one of the lower seeds there. But GG's from both these guys. Thank y'all for watching. What's up, Colin?